Working the night shift at a rehab facility often meant navigating the eerie stillness of the surroundings. On one unsettling night, the security measures in place became the focal point of a chilling encounter. As I diligently attended to paperwork, the monitoring screens displayed the usual activity around the facility's protected gate. A camera above and a doorbell camera provided a comprehensive view of the surroundings. The neighborhood's rough reputation accustomed me to people lingering around the gate, usually paying no heed to their presence. However, this particular night was different. A figure walked past, momentarily catching my attention. It seemed like an ordinary occurrence until he abruptly halted, turned slowly, and fixed his gaze on the camera. His stare was peculiar, hauntingly so. Hollow eyes and a dead expression gave the impression that his mind dwelled on something profoundly unsettling. My instincts hinted at synthetic substances altering his state. Attempting to ascertain his well-being, I used the intercom to initiate communication. To my disquiet, he remained unresponsive, locked in a trance, staring directly into the camera. We have a rule: if the person doesn't propose a threat, then don't engage. So I just continued my work, periodically glancing at the monitor. For a staggering 2 hours, he maintained that unnerving, dead-eyed stare. The persistence was disconcerting, each passing moment adding to the sense of unease. Adhering to the rule of non-interference, I refrained from direct engagement. Upon completing a security round, I returned to the monitoring station, only to find the figure gone. The absence failed to bring relief, instead it deepened the disquiet. The memory of that dead-eyed stare lingered, leaving an indelible mark on the silent night, a reminder of the unsettling encounters that can permeate the solitude of the night shift.
Working at a small hotel, my manager shared a bone-chilling story from her night shift that still sends shivers down my spine. It was close to midnight when she received a disturbing call at the front desk. A man on the other end of the line claimed to be with his 8-year-old daughter, a competitive dancer in need of fashion advice. At first, it seemed like a harmless inquiry, but the conversation quickly took a dark turn. The man asked about fishnet leggings and questioned if they were too provocative for his daughter. Shocked, my manager urged him to choose a more appropriate outfit for his young daughter. However, he proceeded to describe in explicit detail how he believed his daughter was trying to seduce him with her dance outfits and how he was beginning to derive pleasure from watching her perform. Fear gripped my manager as she frantically tried to identify the man's location through the computer system to alert the authorities. To her horror, she discovered that the room the man claimed to be in was unoccupied. Before she could gather more information, the man abruptly hung up the phone, leaving a sense of dread lingering in the air. Months later, around 11 p.m., my manager answered a call on the desk phone, and a familiar voice on the other end asked for help in selecting an outfit for his daughter's upcoming dance recital. Sensing the chilling familiarity of the situation, my manager boldly remarked, "Let me guess, you're inquiring about fishnet leggings again?" The man's response was swift as he promptly hung up, leaving a chilling reminder of the disturbing encounter months prior. The unsettling nature of this recurring phone call left my manager and me on edge, haunted by the sinister implications of a seemingly innocuous conversation about dance attire. It served as a stark reminder of the dark and twisted realities that can lurk beneath the surface, even in the most unexpected settings, like a small hotel lobby late at night.
I used to work as a janitor at a local gym, and one night a terrifying encounter left me shaken to my core. It was during a late-night shift, and I was mopping the floors while listening to music on my iPod. I had my back turned to the door when suddenly, I had this eerie feeling that someone was watching me. Turning around, I was met with a chilling sight. There was a man standing outside the door, dressed in a super sketchy dollar store UPS costume. His face was pressed against the glass, a creepy smile on his face as he tapped on the window with one finger. The hair stood up on the back of my neck, and I could feel a wave of fear wash over me. The man claimed to be a delivery person and insisted that he had a package to deliver, asking me to let him in. It was 1:30 a.m. and everything about the situation felt wrong. The late hour, the strange costume, and his unsettling behavior made me decide to trust my instincts. I refused to let him in and immediately called the police for help. It didn't take long for them to arrive, and they managed to apprehend the man who was attempting to break into a house down the road. It turned out that he was not a legitimate UPS employee, but rather a criminal disguised in a poorly concocted costume, with sinister intentions. The incident left me with a sense of relief, knowing that my quick thinking and decision to call the authorities had potentially prevented a dangerous situation. It was a stark reminder of the importance of staying vigilant and listening to our instincts, especially in moments of uneasy. The encounter had a lasting impact on me, underscoring the importance of staying alert and taking action to ensure the safety and security of myself and others.
I work the night shift at a hospital from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., a small hospital with an entire wing often closed after hours. The dimly lit hallways and the occasional flickering light create an eerie atmosphere, especially considering the frequent deaths that occur in a hospital. One night, as I sat in the ICU monitoring heart monitors, a chilling encounter left me questioning everything I believed about the paranormal. It started when the monitor in room 10 suddenly switched on. Room 10 was supposed to be empty, and the only way to activate the monitor was to be in the room or at the desk where I was stationed. Initially, I brushed it off, assuming it was the janitor cleaning the room. But when the monitor turned on again an hour later, I knew something was off. I had just passed by room 10 moments ago, and there was no one in there. Feeling a sense of unease creeping over me, I decided to investigate. Walking down the dark hallway, I reached room 10. The door was closed and I could see that the lights were off inside. Bracing myself, I opened the door, only to find the room empty. As I reached to turn off the monitor, the door suddenly slammed shut behind me, sending a shiver down my spine. I felt a presence beside me, and fear gripped my heart as I quickly turned off the monitor and left the room. Curiosity and terror drove me to ask my coworkers about any strange occurrences in room 10. Most claimed they had never experienced anything unusual, but 2 of them shared chilling accounts of seeing a ghostly figure sitting on the bed. While I had never believed in ghosts before, the events of that night left me feeling unsettled and slightly spooked by room 10, unsure of what lies beyond the veil of the unknown in the quiet, empty halls of the hospital at night.
As a security guard, my primary responsibility is to maintain safety and order at an abandoned bakery warehouse during the overnight shift. The warehouse, left unattended for 3 years, still holds remnants of the past, such as hard hats and discarded cigarette butts in the break room. It's as if everyone simply vanished, leaving behind a ghostly presence that lingers within the premises. One particularly eerie night, I began my first patrol inside the warehouse, venturing into the darkest, most isolated section where the yeast tanks, ovens, and conveyor belts were housed. This area was devoid of lights, windows, and offered a labyrinthine layout that could easily confuse anyone who dared to wander within. The feeling of being watched had always made me uneasy in this part of the warehouse. To combat my mounting anxiety, I started whistling a tune to myself, hoping it would keep any lurking spirits at bay. However, as soon as I stopped whistling, I heard a faint shuffling noise behind me. Turning around, I found nothing out of the ordinary. My heart pounding, I turned back around, only to hear what sounded like a metallic object striking the side of one of the tanks. In response to the eerie sound, my flashlight began to dim, plunging the area into an even darker abyss. Desperate for light, I pulled out my phone, hoping to use its screen as a makeshift source of illumination. But as soon as I activated it, my phone crashed, leaving me in complete darkness. This was my cue to leave. Hurrying out of the hauntingly silent warehouse, I couldn't help but feel relieved when everything returned to normal upon exiting the ominous structure. Despite the unsettling events of that night, I continued my duties as a security guard, always vigilant and prepared for the unknown that might lurk within the shadows of the abandoned bakery warehouse.